Hey everybody, welcome back to Cover Down. This episode we're going to be going over Ruck Up 2023. It was an awesome event that Doug and I got to be part of, and we're going to show you a little bit about what we did. So
and we're coming to you from a undisclosed location too.
Oh, undisclosed location. We're in the secret layers.
Yes.
So, anyways, Nick,
I'm in my bed and breakfast.
Roll the intro. Welcome back to Cover Down, everybody. This episode was brought to us by the Green Grampy. Yeah, the Green Grampy understands that working collaboratively with others on a common goal builds confidence and produces the best quality results. So if you're looking for someone to either do a home project for you or assist you in your home project and educating you at the same time, go and look up the Green Grampy, whose description will be in the description below. We'll put the link. I'll learn how to talk one of these days. And you can find out more about him. All right, Doug.
What's up, buddy?
Ruck Up 2023, man.
Awesome event.
It was pretty intense. Like
camping. It was. Yeah, no pun intended.
No pun was intended, man.
No, it was actually a really, really fantastic event. I mean, it was 2 days of learning survival skills from an actual SEER instructor. And then the second day was we spent time at the firing range, and then we went over to the archery range, which was hilarious when you decided to get up and tried to shoot the water bottle off of the bear's head. That was probably one of the best parts of the weekend. That was just absolutely.
All I know is when we bug out, you're hunting for the food, and I'm doing everything else. Okay. Yeah,
you can go ahead and start the fires. I'll take care of the food and whatnot, because I have a feeling that if we put another bow and arrow in your hand, someone's going to wind up stuck. Not the food, someone within the camp.
It's sad when you're shooting a bow and arrow, and the person to your left and right of you should be scared, even though you're aiming away from them.
Dude, all of us that were behind you were scared.
Yeah.
That arrow was literally flipping its way around. Well, we're gonna have to turn that video into a short. I'm
with the trigger. I'm no Rambo. All right.
We'll turn that video into a short, so this way everyone can see what we're talking about. But it was one of those. It was one of those moments where, it really kind of, I don't want to say defined the veteran community, but it just encapsulated the veteran community, because we were standing there, and the challenge was, I forget how many yards, like 75, 100 yards out or whatever, and we had to try to shoot.
It wasn't even that far. It was 50 yards.
Maybe it's 20 yards. I don't know. It was far. But we had to shoot the water bottle off of the bear's head, and Seth comes up, and he's thinking, oh, I'm going to get this, because if you shoot the bottle off the bear's head, you get to take home the bow. It was pretty nice. What is it? Recurve. Was it a recurve bow? It definitely wasn't compound, so it was recurve. It was a recurve takedown.
It was a recurve bow. It was a takedown.
Yeah, it was a takedown bow. So the challenge was shoot the water bottle off the bear's head. And here's Seth. He comes up to the line, and he puts the arrow in, and he goes to draw back. And when he draws back, the arrow just goes, starts flipping its way around. And in that moment, it was just nothing but pure laughter. I mean, it was raining hard. Everyone was wet. We were cold. We wanted to go inside, but it was the moment where, like, the humor just really, it just came out of everyone.
We were embracing the suck pretty good right there.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was laughing. Yeah. Like you said, the conditions kind of worsened. It started to rain. We got cold. I was black and blue on my arm because when I don't always shoot a bow, but when I do it completely wrong.
And if you haven't seen that meme, check out the Facebook page.
Yeah, check out the Facebook page. but everyone was still happy.
Yeah.
There wasn't a dour person there. Everyone was in high spirits, laughing. They felt like they were with family. And
but I think the weather also contributed to the awesomeness of the weekend, though.
Yeah, if it ain't raining, you ain't training.
Right. And the thing is like, we all sit there and we want perfect conditions for, when we're doing anything, especially when you're camping out. But let's be honest, like if you have to bug out or when the crap hits the fan situation, it's never going to be perfect weather conditions. So being able to learn how to look for firewood that you can use and start a fire with right away, learn how to make charcoal cloth, with just a tin can and a piece of shirt or whatever it is, so you have fire starters, and being able to do it in these elements where they were less than favorable, it kind of just gave you that sense of, hey, if the crap hits the fan, I know what to do. Like, I got this. So
yeah, it was pretty awesome. And the day after I left, I went and had a fire at my house, and I think I started a fire the fastest I've ever started in my entire life. And I didn't do it with a starter brick.
Yep.
I did it with, instead of using the char cloth, I used cotton balls and Vaseline. All right. And then just knife and flint. And 5 minutes later, I had a roaring fire, man. And it was crazy. Yeah. But let's take a moment to talk about the two organizations that we were working that invited us out, that gave us this great honor to sponsor us to go to this event. One is V.E.T.S, which stands for Veteran Equine Therapeutic Services, which was one of the things that we did. All right, learning to handle horses and work with horses as a form of stress relief for the horse and for ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? And then
the organization I was a part of for a while too.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're fantastic. And then they partnered with H.A.V.A, which is honoring American veterans afield. And then, man, they threw on one hell of an event.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I had sent a message to Thor, and I had said that basically when a veteran leaves the service, it's almost like being told you can never go home again.
Yep.
But after Ruck Up 2023, all right, which is the second annual one, so we're still in the infantile stages of this, and it's still so impressive to see what they were able to put on. But after that event, you realize that it wasn't the base or the installation, it wasn't the uniform, it wasn't the ship, it was the people that were the home. And so they showed us we can always go home. We just got to find our people. We got to find our tribe. So that was pretty awesome. And we'll get into kind of some of the stuff that they offered for veterans there, but we got some video footage that we kind of want to go through real quick. But before we start that, Doug, did you want to put anything else out there and how you were feeling?
I mean, you
were as pumped as I was after we left. So
what's that?
You were as pumped as I was after we left.
Well, I was pumped for a number of reasons. I think the biggest reason is because so we get so busy in our daily lives and stuff like that. A lot of times it's hard for us to take a step back and enjoy something for ourselves. But then when V.E.T.S and H.A.V.A basically told me that I can invite my son with me and he can experience the weekend with me, it just made it 10 times better, right? I mean, my son and I, we have always practiced the bugging out skills. We're starting fires with flint and steel, walking at Bluff Point, and we're looking at places to build shelters, and we're looking at it that kind of like survival mindset. So to have him there with me and being able to get instructions from a SEER instructor, go onto the firing range, shoot the bow and arrow, and just be a part of that experience, but then also still be a part of that veteran community. It was just amazing for me just to have that time with him.
And for those of you who don't know, the instructors that they had out there weren't just, some Joe Schmo. All right.
Right.
Like Doug said, they had a SEER school instructor, which, if I remember correctly, is like survival, escape, apprehension, and rescue. Is that right?
It's survival, evade, resistance, and escape.
Okay. Yeah.
Or something like that. I could be
wrong, entirely wrong in my head.
Yeah.
But either way, it's an actual instructor that teaches service members while they're in, depending on what they're going to go do for their job. Right. how to, if they were captured, how to survive captivity, how to escape, how to survive out in the wild, and how to prepare themselves to get rescued. So quite literally someone whose profession was training in that. So we got some pretty top tier stuff.
Yeah. And I also want to add
same thing with the firearms and everything. It's high quality individuals out there.
Oh yeah, the instructors, firearms instructors were amazing. But I also want to add too, like I know there's a lot of veterans that go out and they'll explore different modalities of, you know, therapy, right? So we go through we go talk to different therapists, we go through different cognitive therapies and stuff like that. Equine therapy is something that's been practiced for a while, and it's still fairly new coming into the veteran community. As something that helps. And as someone who's actually been through it and gone through the program twice and was a part of the actual organization V.E.T.S and worked with them and worked with the horses, I can definitely tell anyone that if you are looking for a way to deal with PTSD, deal with any sort of like stressors of life, contact vets. We'll give you all the contact information. We'll help you get there if we need to. It's a way to, so horses are very responsive and they feed off of the vibrations and the emotions that their handler gives off, right? So if I go into a ring and I'm working with a horse and I'm anxious and scared and I'm getting all emotional and stuff, well, guess what? The horse is going to react the same way. So I have to keep my emotions in check in order to keep this 800,000, 1,500 pound animal from going buck wild. And, you know, it's just learning how to keep your emotions in check. And then let's be honest, horses have a mind of their own. They're going to do what they want. So being able to control a frustration and control that in the moment to keep the horse calm, you're going to learn a lot about yourself. And Seth, you saw, I don't know if you saw the change in like my demeanor when we started working with Dash. And
I did. So here's the thing.
Dash is my boy.
For those of you who don't know at home, Doug's a horse whisperer.
Yeah, I kind of am.
I wouldn't say that the horse was high strung wood, but it definitely had a personality to it. And it was damn near falling asleep in Doug's arms.
Yeah.
And both of them. And it was so calm and relaxed and serene, just watching Doug deal, with this horse, and then myself too, because I love animals, period. But one of the things that kind of, I wouldn't say dawned on me, but definitely reinforced, was the concept of taking a moment to care for something else. It will help you care for yourself.
Exactly.
Right? Which is, that's a lot of reasons why we do what we do, right? By caring for others, we're caring for ourselves in return. So it was, the only words I had for it was something special, man. It was really something special.
Yeah. So, if any veterans interested, I can take you down to the farm. We can get you, hooked up with the program. You can get involved. It's very, very beneficial. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to take a lot away. Even if you're scared of horses, I will admit, when I first started with the program, I was dead set on not working with horses because I was afraid of them. They're big animals and they can easily turn around and buck me down to the next town over. Not going to handle it. But over time, I got used to working around them and knowing each horse's personality. The program did honestly give me that nickname, the Horse Whisperer, because I could go into the ring, or I could basically go out into the pasture. And I have photos of me walking out in the pasture, and I would crouch down and kneel down in the middle of the grass, and I have horses coming up, and we're going nose to nose and face to face, and they're just sitting there. And I'm just controlling their actions just by, my emotions and my attitude towards them. It's a beautiful thing. So anytime I get to work with Dash, it's always fun hanging out with him. But like you said, we do have some videos. Unfortunately, we don't have any videos of us working with the horses. We didn't want any weird camera noises and stuff to kind of spook them, because everything has to be kind of a very calm and serene environment for them. But we do have some stuff leading up into the event. So what is the first video we have, Seth?
The entrance to day 2. So day 1, we didn't have a whole lot of videos because I'm not going to lie to you. Doug and I were, we were like kids in candy stores having so much fun. So
yeah,
we were taking a video.
True.
But on day 2, we had Monique and Nick with us that were documenting a lot of things. So throughout this episode, you're going to see the videos we're talking about. And then for day 1, if you go back and scroll through our social media, you'll see a lot of the pictures that we put up. It was pretty fantastic. But Nick, whenever you're ready, go ahead and roll the first video, and people can kind of see what we were walking up to.
We are here to Pew Pew today with the Veteran Equine Therapy Services event called Ruck Up. It's pretty cool.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. Day 1 was survival skills and horse care, which is very interesting, very relaxing. And then day 2 is we're shooting.
I'm kind of sad I missed day 1, but I'm definitely excited for day 2.
Yeah. Day 1 was pretty legit. They gave us a copious amount of gifts.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier today, it was better gifts than I've received for my birthdays in the last 10 years.
Oh, wow. That's pretty exciting stuff.
We'll go ahead and edit that part out and be sharp.
Now we're walking out to the outdoor gun range here at the Niantic Sportsman's Club and walk up late to a brief because it'd be like that.
Yeah, way to go.
I threw myself underneath the bus there.
Yeah. But they're giving a safety brief, and here you two come walking up with Dunkin' Donuts and coffees like, hey guys, what's going on?
Is there anything more military or veteran than that, though? What are we doing? It's a safety brief, Seth.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that you guys were walking up to the gun range. From there, we were able to shoot. The first thing that we shot was the Sig Sauer 22 long barrel rifle, which was
precision
rifle. These things are ridiculous. I mean,
we're knocking off targets at 200 yards, something like that.
Yeah. And then the cool thing was they taught us DOPE, which stands for what is it? Data on previous engagement. Yeah, data on previous engagement. So you were basically shooting and then adjusting your scope to what you had basically hit moments before, and it was cool to basically see the whole transition. Now, before we roll into this next video, I do have to throw in a little bit of backstory. So Big Tuna, my son, Nick, he is 15 years old. Ever since he's been like 7, 8, he's been at the range with me. I'm a firm believer in, teaching my son gun safety, firm believer in teaching him the rules, regulations, everything when it comes to a firearm. Never put your finger on a trigger, always ride the rail, always doing everything proper. He helped me build, a couple of my firearms, and him and I still hit the range together as like a father-son bonding type thing. When he sat down to shoot the 22, the guy turns around and looks at him, and he was just like, all right, so now you're going to shoot a 22. It doesn't have a lot of kick to it. And then he turns around and he goes, what, not like a 12 gauge shotgun? And then the guy turned around and looked at me. I'm like, yeah, he shot that before. He's like, so yeah, you'll be able to handle this. And this kid's 15 years old, and he is knocking targets 100, 200 yards out. And the shooting instructors are looking at me like, where did this kid come from? And I'm like, like, I've been teaching him. Like, I'm not a sniper, I'm not a sharpshooter or anything, but we spend the time and learn the fundamentals and whatnot. So here's a video of Big Tuna sending some freedom shells downrange, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this kid. This kid's got like 6 when that crap hits the fan.
Like center on all the way back.
Okay.
Look at that. Finger off the trigger immediately. Riding the rail. Good kid.
I didn't see where he hit, no.
I hit just outside of it.
Basically, you get correct and fix it. Really,
These things were so fun to shoot.
They were a blast.
Yeah.
Unintended. Yeah. So I want to point something out here. Every branch of service at some point in time will train to use a firearm, right? Because that is what we do. Some of us will use it a little bit more, depending on the fact that we stand watch or things like that. So in the case of me being in the Navy and with submarines, my experience with firearm primarily consists of whatever armed watch station I'm going to be standing on board the vessel or the installation that I happen to be in. Where you specifically, being in the Army, all right, very well trained in your firearm because that is an extension of yourself, right? From everything that I've understood. But to be able to take people like me who don't get many chances to shoot anything more than a 12 gauge shotgun, a Beretta 9mm, and M4 or M16, right? Where some other people will get to shoot a little bit larger weapons. We don't really get to do some of the crazy stuff that we see. Everybody wants to do sniper stuff until they realize they can't do sniper stuff.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that day we got to do sniper stuff.
Yeah.
And what was awesome is, teaching us, data on previous engagement, how to apply it in the field. But then we got to witness something that was actually pretty cool. And we got to watch a very experienced shooter acquire a target at, I think it was 150 yards above a berm, but then adjust his data on previous engagement in his scope, or using his data on previous engagement, adjust his scope to hit a target behind a berm at 125 yards he could not see.
Yeah, and that all came from his spotter too, and that all that data came from his spotter, and that's what was the most fascinating part. Is the spotter was just like, high to the left or whatever, and then he just turned around and boom, tink, and you're like, what the hell just happened here? And the guy was like, I can't see where I'm shooting.
So for those of you who well, the further way I can explain it is I spent 11 years in the military and I never got to experience something like that. I only got to witness it through History Channel documentary series, all right, on, sniper forces or something like that.
Yep.
But to see it in person was just mind-blowing. And I felt like I got to experience a little bit of everyone else's time in service.
Yeah. And
that was really cool. I liked that a lot.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. I just, man, that was such a fun day, man. A lot of trigger therapy, right?
Yeah. And honestly, too, like I didn't. So when it was my turn to shoot, I did shoot the 22. I also participated like 2 years ago in another H.A.V.A event. And that same 22 rifle that we were shooting, they gifted to the participants. So I have one, at my house. If you want to go out and shoot it, we can definitely arrange that. But again, having Nick there, Big Tuna, I wanted him to be able to get that skill set. I wanted him to be able to have that experience, to experience the data on preview engagement or the dope, and have him walk away going, damn, I did some of that sniper stuff, right? Yeah. So I let him shoot. But
do the 22s, right? We went and shot.
It was Smith and Wesson donated 2 different types of 9mm. It was a smaller.
I think it was 6 firearms in total.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they did that. And that was also another thing too. When Big Tuna went up to the firing line on the 9mm, the handguns, the instructor comes up and he was just like, "All right, do you know what you're doing? Have you shot before?" And he goes, "Yep." And he goes, "Okay." He's like, "This is how." And Nick picks up the magazine, slides it into the magazine well, racks the slide back, lets it go, pulls it forward, make sure that the round in there, and then he just slides it forward, like rides it forward just a little bit, and then his hand again riding the rail the entire time. And that instructor's looking at me and he's like, "What? How old is this kid?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's 15." And honestly, I'll tell you what though, that kid shot a hell of a lot better than me that day.
Yeah, better than me too.
I don't know if it was just because I was wired up on coffee and Ghost Energy drink or whatever, but damn, son. Yeah, I'm doing a shameless plug for Ghost Energy. Love that stuff.
So for those who might be unfamiliar with firearms or not as experienced, it's very much a use it or lose it skill set. All right.
Exactly.
Where for me, since I moved from Virginia, I haven't been shooting as much. So I lost it. I think I locked and loaded and fired down range on a tree, hit the first 2 targets from the first 2 shots, great, and then just missed the entire magazine afterwards. And then, so here's how awesome our instructors are, because our instructor comes up behind me and goes, awesome, great. Would you like to keep shooting like that, or would you like some help? And I was like, I'd love some help. It was a fantastic experience. And man, the backing and support for these 2 organizations to give us this wonderful experience was pretty amazing.
Yeah. And you actually got to do an interview with an individual by the name of Jim Cottrell, who is actually a member of the Veterans Equine Therapeutic Services team. I've worked with him a couple of times, talked to him, very awesome individual. And you actually got to do an interview with him right outside the firing range when everyone was, letting them free themselves down range. So let's go ahead and cut into that video real quick. Hold
real
on
quick though, before we do, if it sounds like I'm forgetting where I am and who I'm talking to, it's because it just came off the firing range and I was so excited and I was forgetting who I was talking to. So
all right, so we'll put that little plug in there.
Right. Hey folks, Seth again here at the Niantic Sportsman's Club. That's right. And we're here with
Jim Cottrell.
And you're with V.E.T.S, right?
Yes, Veterans Equestrian Therapeutic Services.
That's right. So we've been for the last 2 days at one of the most spectacular events I've ever been to in regards to vets. Quite jealous, but it's called Ruck Up. All right, so day 1, we were out here at another location working on survival skills and working with horses and the therapeutic effects of dealing with horses and stuff. Today we're out at the gun range learning some pretty awesome and intricate shooting techniques with, data on previous engagements and things like that. We're having a great time. But how long have you been with V.E.T.S yourself?
Actually, just a little over a year.
All right. Yep. All right, cool. So what do you do with them specifically?
So I guess I should just kind of start out what drove me to it.
Yeah,
so,
let's do that. Just
overwhelming need or want to support. Mm-hmm. When I got back from Iraq way back when, there were just certain things and obstacles I had to deal with and maneuver through. But then you hear about the overwhelming number of veterans that take their lives having problems, reintroducing themselves into society and basically just having issues overcoming certain things. And that was not acceptable to me. So I figured I had to try and figure out some way to reach to them because if I don't know, I can't help, type of thing. And so I found this equestrian program near us. So I decided I wanted to volunteer. I got started volunteering with them. And so again, the emphasis on volunteer. Mm-hmm. And they had their first Ruck Up event. And I said, okay, yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to volunteer. And I show up and they're like, no, you're a veteran. Here's the T-shirt for a vet. You're going to actually participate. So that's how I got it, doing the first Ruck Up with them. And things progressed. Got to know the people more. Great group, great team. And then got asked to be on the board. So joined the board a little over 6 months ago, probably. Mm-hmm. And it's just been going from there. And it's just the people that I meet just day in and day out doing these things. This group with H.A.V.A. That's helping put on the second day of Ruck Up is just absolutely phenomenal team. And I just love the mission, fell in love with the outreach and the mission itself, and just wanted to continue forward. And I hope to continue to help grow it. Yeah,
there's one thing I've noticed is that when you exit the service, there's for a lot of people, there's kind of a loss of identity. All right, because everything that you were is now behind a fence somewhere that you can't quite go back to.
Absolutely.
But here, at events like these, you're kind of bringing a little bit of that back to them. So to remember and kind of where they came from, who they are, what they did, and that though they might not be in the uniform nowadays, or they might not be on that base or on that installation, that they're still with the same brothers and sisters that they served with, and a group of people, that veterans or civilians, that are still willing to help them.
Absolutely. And for me, those experiences in large groups, anxiety that would come with that, this heightened sense of awareness that the soldier brings to the table, because that's the environment they're in, and then to be in an environment where you don't need to or really shouldn't be that high of, or
it can be exhausting.
Yeah, it can be very exhausting, actually, mentally and physically exhausting. And for me, I kind of recognized that there was something missing, like you say, and it really boiled down to that camaraderie.
Yes.
And I started with the fire department, joined a local fire department, and that brought something back, because at least I had that camaraderie and everything. But there was still that whole thing of being in certain situations and having that heightened state of awareness, which I brought into my family life, which in some aspects is a good thing, because you can teach your kids, your family members, your loved ones that, hey, this is the way you should go into a situation, into an environment, to make sure that you're safe.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, sorry.
It's all right, man.
But on the other hand, you're kind of almost handicapping them for getting the full experience of situations and circumstances, because some things you just need to embrace and not go in so guarded. And
yeah. Well, that's why we're here, right? To show whoever comes out to this event that they're not alone. All right. And like Thor had said yesterday, when you think no one's going to come get you,
that's right.
You guys are going to come get them.
Absolutely. Right? And you guys, I'm sure.
We're all here for each other, man.
It's just because you've left the military and have taken yourself out of that fight doesn't mean that the fights for life are over. And it doesn't mean that you've left that team and that you left that group, because even though we're out in society and we're in our little cloisters here, there, and everywhere, we're still here and we're still together.
Yeah, we belong to something.
I don't even know what branch you were in. And
doesn't really matter, right?
It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No, that's the
you need
thing.
My help on there.
Is that we've gone so long in such large portions and such meaningful portions of our lives of belonging to something that's greater than ourselves, then when that thing is no longer there, we have to search for something else. And I think organizations like the Guardians and organizations like V.E.T.S and H.A.V.A are creating those places for them to belong. So I appreciate what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. And so, do you have anything you want to add to this at all?
Yeah, I'd like to say just what he said.
All right, sounds good. See you next.
Before we continue, I want to give a big shout out to Jim Cottrell here for opening up and being brave and strong enough to really kind of talk about some things.
Yeah.
You can obviously see the effect that organizations like this have on individuals that volunteer for them. Yeah, man, I was so thankful to have that conversation with him. It was great.
Yeah, they're V.E.T.S and H.A.V.A are doing some amazing things. And speaking of H.A.V.A, one of the I guess the face of the organization, Chris Fleming, is someone that I've known for quite a while, and he constantly says this, and I don't agree with it, but I mean, he always says that if it wasn't for me and if it wasn't for the Guardians, that he would not be where he is at today. We did help him out, years and years and years ago. But it's what we do. We help out the veteran community, and we're there for each other when, someone else needs it. He's a stubborn ass Marine. Yes, I know I did swear, but he is a stubborn Marine. And he, was going to deny the help that we were going to give him. But good thing I'm, maybe 2% smarter and was able to be 2 steps ahead of him on this one. So he couldn't deny the help. And he is one of the most humble individuals that you'll ever meet. really, really awesome individual to talk to. And we were actually able to grab him for, was it 15 minutes or whatever, and sit down and talk with him. Was this day 1 or day 2? I think it was.
This was day 2. This was day 2, and once again, a great example.
Oh yeah, day 2. That's right.
Monique is fantastic for interviews.
Oh, she's fantastic. The mobile news reporter.
Yeah, right. So here's the thing. All right, what we're about to show you, I wasn't present for because I was having some amazing conversations with some other individuals for there. So I'm actually about to see this for the first time. Now, I've been in communication with Chris since Ruck Up. I made him a few things here. I'll show you in a second. But yeah, let's go ahead and watch this video. Man, what a like an interesting group of people, and you just feel a lot of pride just to be around them.
Exactly.
You know? And they definitely lift your spirits pretty well. So
exactly.
Nick, go ahead and roll that video for us.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
So I work with Honored American Veterans of Field.
Okay.
And the organization started back in 2007, and it was firearm industry leaders and manufacturers, and nobody was doing it on the regular, and they just had a couple executive CEOs, and they're like, let's take some dudes on a hunt. So they took one guy on one hunt, and they're like, why can't we make this repeatable? So they got, Yamaha, Crimson Trace, Smith & Wesson, I think Mossberg was in then, and they're like, well, let's expand, let's get bigger. And now we have about 25, 30 sustaining sponsors across the firearms manufacturers side. Sig Sauer, Mossberg, Smith & Wesson, Yamaha, Glock. If they're a major player in the industry, then they support us.
Wow.
We expanded from hunts. Hunts are terribly expensive, and we try to be as efficient as we can with the money side. And we could do events like this that are pretty intimate. We get to hang out with the guys and gals, and we just shoot. We just have fun. Some of the classes are more serious than others. Some are more just about hanging out and the camaraderie. Others, it's, hey, we want to teach you how to shoot. Maybe they're missing a limb. Maybe they're, limited motion in their shoulders, hips, knees, whatever. But we want to take those combat returning vets and just get them back out and smell the gunpowder again.
Absolutely. So how do you guys, I guess, get attention, and how do you guys raise those funds? You're talking about how, costly it is to go on those hunts.
So we don't have paid staff.
Okay.
We don't have a headquarters. We try to stay about 85% back, and that is industry leading, as you guys know. And the goal really is we're going to be as lean as possible. We're going to spoil the vets as big as possible, and we want to create smiles. We want to create a Sunday habit. So a lot of things that we do focus around the shooting sports. So if we can teach a shooting sport, equip them for that shooting sport, and show them, hey, you can do this. We now created a Sunday activity for them that they can go out, and they can go out by themselves. They can go with their girlfriends, moms, dads, kids, whatever, and they can have that fun on the range together.
That's nice.
And what's most interesting for me about this organization, so I was hurt as a contractor in Afghanistan. I actually lost both my legs below the knee.
Oh my God.
So many charities reached out to me, and they're like, hey, we want to help you. And I'm like, sweet. And they're like, we want to get you golf clubs and send you out to California and let you play golf with Phil Mickelson. Awesome. Send me your Purple Heart. I don't have one. I was a contractor. I was not that, like, I was doing a very similar job. However, I didn't meet that criteria. And then you have to stay with your mission statement. So it's not the charity's fault. It's not the organization's fault, but they have to be good to their word, to be good to their donors, their sponsors, their, supporters. So I didn't meet anybody's category. So I got a call from a lieutenant colonel, and he said, hey, I need you to go out to this charity event. It's in San Antonio. And I'm like, I don't qualify. And he's like, shut your mouth, pack your bags, you're going to go work. I said, okay. So I showed up. That was 2011. It was my first trip away from home after losing both my legs. And when I showed up, they're like, hey, little guy, like, event's not till tomorrow. And I'm like, well, I'm here to work. And I have not left the organization since. So they created a home for me. They showed me that I could still be in the community and chat with people, because that's, I don't know about everybody else, but that's what I want. I need to be in this community. So working with this organization has allowed me to stay very close to the veteran community.
I mean, not to kind of tie us back in, but I'm gonna shamelessly. So like Guardians, I think that's one of the themes that I hear a lot, is that camaraderie and that home feeling, that big team unit family that, you know, we're able to kind of take all the good things that are outside of or inside, you know, the military or the contractors or whatever we have going on there, and bring that home, you know, and create that safe space in that home, not to use that word. So, but you know what I mean? I'm glad that you found, you know, your niche now that you're here, you know, home too.
We get to hang out together because of it.
Yeah. So how long were you a contractor? Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I did some stateside contracting for a little while, mostly instructional stuff.
Sure.
And then I tried to go a different route in the Marine Corps. Apparently, you have to know how to swim and recon.
Oh,
and drowning over and over in the trials is, you don't get to go.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Blackwater, they don't give a shit if you can swim or not in the desert. So I was like, hey, I want to do a pump with you. And I got put on a counter narcotics team with the Afghanistan Border Police.
Oh, wow.
So our mission was to train these guys and then take them out on their missions and make sure that they were able to safely accomplish their goals. So it was a really neat program. I'm glad I did it. We had armored vehicles that we utilized, and we would get shot at them, because if you're in an armored truck, you're cool or important. So they would try to attack us. So we bought some Ford Rangers, and we stopped getting shot at. But they're not very good against bombs. So wrong place, wrong time. It wasn't even meant for us. It was meant for the Army. Got hit. We ran real small teams, so a 4-man team, 2 guys each truck, and we were just lucky the guys that were in front of us in the vehicle squared away, knew what they were doing. They were prior Marines. I had an 18 Delta, square my legs away. So it worked out good.
Well, thank you for, doing everything that you did. That's huge. You've obviously contributed a lot to, the country as a whole, and kind of what we all wish, I think, that we could stand for, right? So you were a contractor, but you're right there. So that's incredible. Good for you, and thank you for everything that you did.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We kind of see that red tape, issue as well with our mission statement and how we are able to reach out to people. So that can be frustrating, especially when we hear somebody like in your case. You kind of wish there were better ways to navigate that, or just something you guys need. Something.
Well, and we're all resourceful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I can't do it directly and stay in my mission, I'll find another group that can.
Exactly.
Or we'll do something private. I mean, there's so many opportunities that we can make stuff happen.
Yeah.
And that's what we do.
You made stuff happen for us, so we gotta, as a nation, gotta figure out how we can better support you guys. Yeah. Really. So, I mean, I don't know. What about? Can we talk about you for a minute? Take the heat off you for just a second.
Can I talk about him?
Yeah, you do it.
No, you sound very excited. You are freaking special.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear.
So other than that, the fact that he likes John Deere.
Okay.
So I moved to New England 2011-ish. And I am no longer an operator. I'm no longer kicking indoors. I'm not doing any cool guy stuff. And, it's like, well, I need to do something. So I'm like, well, I'll go find a shooting match. If you haven't shot competition before, it's very humbling. It doesn't matter how badass you were, you're going to suck at this until you figure the game out. So I went to this random club, and I met Andy and Uncle Bill. And they were the first guys to come over and talk to me and be like, hey, can we help you? And I was in a wheelchair at the time, pretty much 100% of the time. And they're like, all right, you're going to just walk over here or push your butt over here and you're going to shoot this, this, and this. I'm like, okay. So I go over there and I'm okay, but I'm certainly not at their level. And then when I realized Uncle Bill's a phenomenal mechanic, I got a mechanic kicking my ass. Well, I'm a lead operator. That's not all right with me. And, all these guys, they're car salesmen, they're husbands and, wives and daughters like the quality of shooter at these clubs, it's amazing. So at one point, Andy would be pushing me around, and I started winning because he knows where to put me in the right spot, and I was basically just a tank turret out there doing this stuff. And then they told me I had to start walking because they didn't like it. But so Andy is actually, so he's been shooting competition since teenager, right, with Uncle Bill. But he's the reason that I am into competition shooting, which has gave me the approach to get into Honored American Veterans of Field, which has allowed me to shoot. He and I go to national level competitions. We get out of the house, we travel together, we eat good. We got friends all across the country. So I can totally say my entire shooting career is based on this guy.
Yeah, that's incredible. I have to say, when he helped me with the handgun at the handgun range, and it was a little sad. It was a little sad, but I was a little ashamed. No, you were great. It was nice. You were very calm, and I can understand wanting to have an instructor like that by your side. So that's awesome. That's really cool. So you guys have been working together kind of since then, 2011. Is that right? Yeah.
And I volunteer for the thing. He's the big dog. Partners in crime. Partners in crime.
Oh, well. I every time I look up, I do see you two together. There seemed to be a theme today. So.
Well, and I don't live here anymore, so when I do come back, to do these things, like I'm going to gravitate towards Kurt and Nick. And,
naturally.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want it, right? I get that.
Can I add something?
No.
Hey, I'm Greek Freak. And I've shot better over the years because of Andy. He sells himself short, and he actually does a lot of things to help a lot of veterans and civilians at best too. And he's a man of many talents. One of the biggest things when I ruck, and I'm hard on myself, and sometimes I want to give up. It's because of Chris Fleming that I get to push on. It's people like this that actually put me to the finish line. So I'm grateful for that. So I love you guys. Thank you.
From a bloody legend himself. Holy cow. That's a big deal. I have to say, it feels a little,
should we all?
I'm very humbled. I'm very humbled to just be seated at the same table as you guys. Really awesome people here. So that's what's up.
And that is our whole team.
Yeah.
We have a whole team of.
I just kind of let them. If you flail them, it's best.
At my side. Okay.
So I just gave him a teaser that we're doing the motorcycle thing.
Oh, the motorcycle thing, yeah. Going down to betting in Lejeune. Or there's a second option, right?
There is.
There's a second option. There's a possibility through the generosity of Harley Davidson that we may be going out to Sturgis this year for their big motorcycle event. If everything works out fine, that's where we're going to be going, with about the same number of people, maybe a couple more, and having a great time in Sturgis, doing some shooting events along with some riding out in the beautiful South Dakota hills. Fingers crossed. Hopefully it works out.
So if, we're all interested in at least seeing you on this journey, how can we follow along?
So to follow along with the events with H.A.V.A, we have an Instagram page, which is H.A.V.A Training.
H.A.V.A_training.
H.A.V.A_training. You can follow us there. We have other Instagram pages, of course. Academy has one if you'd like to do some local shooting. We can do one down there. But I know V.E.T.S has one. V.E.T.S_CT, I think, is theirs. But yeah, if you're looking for more information on that, you can contact us through Instagram as well. So easy way to find us.
Awesome. I'll make sure that I'm hopping on there. That's awesome. All right, so can we talk about you a little bit? We talked about these fine gentlemen. We got to know them a little bit intimately.
Okay.
Tell me about you.
Yeah. My name's Kurt.
Hi, Kurt.
Hi. I work at Academy Training Center in Salem. Before that, I worked for the Department of Correction for 20 years. Did some time.
You've been in jail your whole life.
I've been in jail my whole life.
That sucks.
Pretty much. Yes and no.
Yeah.
Okay. The benefits outweigh what I had to go through, but whatever. anymore. It's a job. Before that, I was in the National Guard I did 6 years with the MPs, our local 143rd MP company up in Hartford, Connecticut. I don't know if they're around anymore. But I got out of that in 94, 95. I was out, and I started corrections in 94. So it was a little bit of an overlap with the National Guard. That was, he was, how old were you?
I probably wasn't born yet.
Okay, good. So a long, long time ago in a place far, far away, I did some things. But full circle back to this, without that short stint in the military, when I didn't even know what I was doing with my life, has led me to this, and I wouldn't change it for the world. We were talking a little bit earlier off camera about how people don't feel like they deserve to participate in these events, and that's just unrealistic. Malarkey. I mean, it's malarkey. There's always someone worse off than you. Okay, so if we're gonna wait till everyone who's the worse off to have these events, we're gonna be waiting forever, because there's always somebody that has something worse than you do. So what we need as these organizations, we need participants. We need people to put aside their wanting to help other people for one day and just take, because it's being offered, and these people want you to participate. We want you to volunteer, of course we do, but we need you to participate. So if there's one thing I could say to people out there on the fence about possibly attending one of these events, whether it's ours or V.E.T.S or Guardians of the Purple Heart or Wounded Warrior, whoever, just if you're asked, attend and enjoy yourself, because without that, we don't have these events. We can't do it. And selfishly, I want to do this. So I need people to come and participate. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's it. I don't know if I answered any of your questions at all.
No, I think
that
was
what
beautiful.
I wanted to say.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Good.
I think we kind of understand that too, and having a hard time finding people that are able to step back and kind of be on the receiving end of,
Absolutely.
I don't want to say some love, but some love,
Yes,
some
that's what it
TLC.
is, right. Yeah.
And a lot of these people need it, and they don't want to ask for it. They don't want to.
That's why we offer it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to ask for it.
Yeah.
But when we offer it, do it.
Yeah, just show up. Just show up.
Yeah. We'll ask you again, but there might come a time when we stop asking. So definitely take advantage of it. And if you want to help, you have to participate.
Yeah.
So remember that.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for taking some time to sit and chat with me and spending the day with us. What a fantastic weekend with some of us lucky ducks here. I didn't get to come yesterday, but what a treat.
Your group is pretty special, right? So Connecticut being a smaller state, like you have reach from edge to edge, border to border, and like I've been to some of your rides back in the day while I lived here. I've had personal influence from you guys. Like, you guys are studs. We appreciate what you guys doing. We enjoy working together. We've had events where like, hey, we need some guys come out. You got anybody? And they show up.
Yeah, always. Yeah. Always. But happy to help. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Sorry there, bud.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a fantastic group of people.
So I just want to say Chris Fleming is absolute. He is a legend. Kurt, he's a legend too. I ride with him a lot during riding season. Him and I meet up at a bunch of these rides and whatnot. We're constantly running into each other. First time I ever met Chris Fleming, though, I see him come ripping up to the poker run, and he's on his Harley. And as he said, he lost both of his legs. So he comes riding past me, and I see the prosthetic, and I'm looking at his leg, and I'm like, holy crap, this dude's riding a bike with a like, this dude is a legend. So
if you were to meet Chris, you'd have no idea.
Well, the best part is that we're standing there, and the guy next to me, he goes, you want to see something even more legendary? I'm like, yeah. He goes, watch when he gets off the bike. So he parks the bike and he swings his other leg over, and it's another prosthetic. And I'm like, wait, what? This dude is just ripping downtown on his motorcycle. And I'm just like, this nothing stops this guy. He puts his mind to something. He wants to do something. And this guy finds a way to do it, whether it's, he finds a way to fuel his passion with riding motorcycles, or he finds a way to give back to the veteran community. I mean, this dude is just, he is hard charging. And then luckily enough, like through all the connections that he was talking about, through all the other organizations, he teamed up with V.E.T.S. And when he teamed up with V.E.T.S, he was introduced to Thor, who is now running the program. And Thor is the one that contacted us along with Nico about being participants in this event. And yes, his name is actually Torgeston, but we call him Thor for short. But I mean, this dude looks like a Thor. So he is an absolutely legendary individual as well.
Real quick. So I've spent a lot of time since Ruck Up talking with Chris. We had a small conversation at the table together afterwards. He saw my hat, right? Which is our sign-off line, right? For this show, which is stay proud, stay grateful, as we always say. And I always felt that, I felt that there are certain people that embody that so well. And when Chris saw my hat, he's like, I want it. I was like, you want my hat? Like, you want me to give it to you?
Take it.
And he's like, no, I want one just like it. He says, I live that every day. Every day, that's what I live. That's what I think and I feel. And so, Chris, I know you're out there, and I know you know this is coming, but on behalf of the Guardians and the show, right, we got you a Stay Proud, Stay Grateful hat. Right?
That's awesome.
As well as a mug.
That's
a little
perfect.
gem on the back of it.
That's awesome.
So keep on keeping on, man. Keep pushing that message and telling people to be proud of who they are, proud of those who came before them, and grateful for what they have and what they've been given. We love you, bud. And we're going to do some more work with you here pretty soon. It's going to be.
We got a couple more surprises lined up for you. We're not going to get into that right now, but yeah, we're just going to segue. So Thor is an absolutely amazing individual. This person is talented in so many different ways. Actually, the logo, the Guardians logo that you see, the one that everyone loves and the one that's plastered everywhere, he actually designed it. So
this is news to me. See, guys, even I learned some stuff that's pretty cool.
Our first logo, the wings on the medallion were more left and right. They were more spread out. We never had the circle that said Guardians of the Purple Heart. After a couple of months, I think it was like 6-8 months, we realized that logo did not work for merchandise. So we contacted Thor, who helped us set up our website. And then we were like, look, we're looking for a new logo. And he was like, I'll design something for you. I'll give you like 3 or 4 different things to choose from. You pick the one that you like the most. This was the first logo he sent. This was the first logo that I presented to the organization. And immediately, as soon as we saw it on a shirt, sweatshirt, coffee mug, backpack, hat, it was like, that's it. That's the logo. It instantly was like, this is what has to be what identifies us as an organization. He has his own business, Pyramid Marketing. He runs V.E.T.S. He's a music singer. Like he does, I don't know if he does karaoke, but I mean, the dude sings and, plays guitar and all that. I mean, this guy is he's wicked talented. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been a part of this event. So we were actually able to, it's very rare that we're able to sit down with organizers of an event of this magnitude. So being able to spend some time and sit down with people and talk to them and get to hear their side of things is kind of a rare treat for us. So we'll play this video of Thor, and then again, we'll put all the information down in the description below so everyone can go ahead and contact V.E.T.S, Thor, or the organization or whatever, but we'll get you hooked up. So let's go ahead and spend a few minutes with Thor and hear what he has to say.
All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm sitting here with what is soon to be one of my new favorite people for inviting us out to this event with Thor. We want to take this moment to kind of talk to you about the Ruck Up event that we just concluded. All right, that was a blast. I give you a 10 out of 10 on the super cool scale for this. All right, 10 out of 10. You're the first one, by the way.
Yeah.
So we just want to take the a moment and kind of talk a little bit about what we do. We'll go over more of it in the show specifically, but more about why V.E.T.S was started and what the aim is for. So I'll go ahead and I'll pass the mic to you.
Yeah, V.E.T.S, or Veterans Equine Therapeutic Services, was started in 2015. I was working as an equine therapist, working with children who have autism and cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and Craig McAllister, who was a Navy chief and Coast Guard chief, approached me because his brother-in-law had been in an IED attack in Afghanistan. His brother-in-law went to a riding facility in Texas called Ruck Up and did equine therapy there. Showed amazing indications as far as handling his PTSD and his mobility. He had TBI, and he was crushed under an MRAP for kind of like 8 hours before they found him. And doing equine therapy, Craig was out there, saw what had happened, and was like, I need to do this too. So Craig approached me as I was doing the instruction out there, and he asked me if I wanted to be his lead instructor and start this organization with Christina Clark. And we said, hell yes. And that was basically how it was formed. And we bounced around from barn to barn until we found the place where we're at, and that kind of got us to where we're at right now.
So the Ruck Up event. This is number 2, right?
This is number 2. Yeah. So this is number 2. That came about. I got the idea. I was doing a climb out in Wyoming at Jackson Hole. I was going to climb the Grand Teton, and I didn't make it. It's a tough climb. I got altitude sickness, started getting nosebleeds and everything. Had to quit. But when we got there, it was we had the excellent guides, and I spent 2 months putting my pack together and getting workout and everything like that. And when I got there, the guides are like, okay, dump your packs out on the tables. And I'm like, man, I just spent 2 months getting this pack together. And they're like, we don't care. We need to see what you're carrying up the mountain, because when we have to carry you down, we want to know that we're not carrying your weight set and your 12-pack of beer and all this stuff. And we want to know what you've got. And literally, they went through your pack and they're like, you don't need this. And they threw out half of my shit. And they're like, you don't need this. You don't need this. You just need this. Take this, that. And they put it in. And I was like, what a great metaphor. It's like, what are you carrying around that you don't need, that is so easily to go, nope, you don't need this. Get rid of it. Right. And I was like, okay, they're helping me find the right gear. They're putting me in the right mindset, and they're giving me the right education. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So it was like, when I get back, we're going to put an event together. And it basically was going to be the equine, the horses, and it was going to be archery and outdoor skills. And we got hooked up with Kurt Hersberg and the H.A.V.A team, and they said shooting would be a great component to add to that. And that's kind of how it grew, and it's kind of took off from there.
So in my short span in this community thus far, I haven't been to a lot of veteran-based events, but I personally don't know if I'll come across one like this. I mean, Doug, you've been around this scene for a while. I mean, how?
This was, so like 2 years ago, I participated in another event with H.A.V.A, and that was 2 days worth of shooting, which was absolutely amazing. This was the first Ruck Up, and this was just, I didn't know what to expect when I saw the pictures from last year, and when I was watching the videos and the pictures, I was looking at it going, that looks awesome. Yeah. Like, everything that they're doing, that is pretty cool. And then yesterday, like, Nick, my son, was there with me yesterday, and we were just, like, the entire night, we were just talking about it. I'm talking about how we smelled like campfire on the way home. Went out to my truck like 3 hours later and still smelled like campfire. And we were like, this is just, I mean, it was great to be connected with so many like-minded people, but yet still be disconnected from everything else, if that makes any sense.
What you guys put together here is something pretty special. I feel like it embodied everything that we loved about being in the service. I mean, trying to, like the archery thing we were doing earlier, right? Trying to shoot the bottle off of a fake bear's head, and we're all making fun of each other while we're doing it. We're out here, we're learning new skills or brushing up on some skills that we might have already known, and we're having a blast while we're doing it. and it kind of, you just leave a lot of the other stuff behind. You're really focused in the moment. It doesn't matter if it's, you guys were teaching us how to groom and care for a horse, and kind of getting in that importance of how caring for something else is a really good way to care for yourself. Just to kind of also exercising some of the, our abilities, whether it be on the archery range or the firing range, or you teaching me how to make fire from a friggin' rock and a knife, right? Like it's really amazing. I think you guys shot from the moon and friggin' destroyed it. And I'm personally very proud to be part of this community. If you guys put on something like this, and I'm very grateful that you invited us out. It's a wonderful experience. Doug,
I also think too, like one of the biggest things for like myself, and maybe you can agree too, is as we are leaders in an organization ourselves, we're always on the opposite side of the fence, right? So we had like your role where we're planning, organizing, orchestrating. We're always calling the shots, pointing the fingers and stuff. And to be on this side of it and then watching everyone else work, and then we're sitting here like participating and doing everything that you put together, like it's I don't want to call it a motivator, but it just kind of like breathes just that much more fire into it, to where it's like that roughest day.
Is this what it?
Right. It's like, is this what our recipients feel like, or is this what other people feel like when we help them? And then it just breathes that fire right back into you, where it's just like, all right, what else can we do? Where else can we go with this?
I was talking to Nico, and I was talking to some of the H.A.V.A guys, and I was explaining the days leading up. I heard about this, this bag, and I called Nico and I said, Nico, I don't know how I feel about this, man. I feel terrible taking this. I got the classic Nico, shut up and take it. But the guys that H.A.V.A made a really good point. Is if you wait for someone else, worse off than you, then we're going to sit here for the rest of eternity. And it was definitely an eye-opening experience, and a lot of fun, and exactly what I think what you guys were trying to aim for, and it exceeded all of our expectations.
I really think, and that's kind of the essence. I mean, some of my background, I am non-military, but I worked in a military environment for many years. My brother and family members are in those environments, and I come from a traditional martial arts background where it's the warrior mentality, the warrior ethos in a very classical sense. And so a lot of what we do, in my understanding, and being around true warriors in that sense, and with this, is that it's okay, what motivates them. It's kind of one of those things you say, okay, what are you guys going to want to do? What are you going to want to participate in? And it's really what I was getting is with what we do in the equine therapy. So when we're trying to help people with PTSD, so we joke, and I don't know if they said that horses are the poster child of PTSD, right? I mean, horses have survived for millions of years with fight or flight, trust issues, hypervigilance, all of that, and that has made them very good at surviving, right? And in the military, hypervigilance, trust issues, fight or flight, all of those are great things for anybody who's in a combat environment. When you come back to the stateside, everybody's like, okay, you're wigging me out with that shit. It's like, so stop doing that, but we want you to redeploy in 6 months, so don't lose that, right? And where I come from my martial arts background and all of that, is that, and it's kind of the samurai thing. It's like, you need to have that all the time, but you need to temper that so that you can carry it with you. And it's like, you go, okay, just be a horse, right? Horses get spooked every once in a while, but they're still able to manage that hypervigilance and all that trust issues and all those things. And those aren't bad indicators if you're like, yes, you should know how many exits are in the room. Yes, you should know how to get out of there. Yes, you should know how, where your kid is and what to do, but you shouldn't let it overwhelm you. And that idea of, you shouldn't never stop being a warrior. You shouldn't stop working out, shouldn't stop training, shouldn't stop doing this stuff, and then by being able to get around people who are like-minded and love to do this stuff, that's the thing. And that's, my getting to be Santa Claus here, kind of saying, okay, I've got all of this stuff that was given to me and I learned along along the way, and all I want to do is give it away because I just love sharing, right? And that education piece. And I think that that idea of being able to flip the script on kind of some of the, you know, how veteran vets are run, or that, you know, that I want somebody else to do it. I want somebody else to have that experience or have that, you know, I'll give it to them, you know, and that's really, you're leaving kind of money on the table when people are saying, hey, this is here for you. It's like your VA benefits. You wouldn't say no to your VA benefits, right? It's one of those things. It's like, okay, if somebody's offering this to you. And then the other side of that is that it is so important to the people who either never served or never volunteered, never did anything, that want to give back, right? Because they're so passionate about what veterans have done and what they just want to help and want to give. And when you go, no, you're denying them that love or that ability to show you how they feel, right? And it's one of those, it's kind of like you have to go, okay, it's like, yes, I will let you do this to me because that's my gift to you, because you get to feel good that you've done a good thing, instead of going, no, I don't need your fucking help, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, and it's a very kind of Japanese mentality of, okay, you know, I will let you serve me because it's making you happy to do that, you know, and that's a whole different mindset, and that's kind of what I try to have underlying in, you know, in the things that I do, that it's like, you know, I get so much great joy out of giving all this stuff and doing all the work. I mean, it stresses me out, but it's one of those, it's like when it's done, you're just like, man, you see how many smiles, and it just getting out there shooting the bows and doing the stuff, and it's like, those are fun things that it's like, you got to get out and do that shit, man. You got to get out and kind of, you know, that's, you know.
Well, you guys did fantastic. You put on one hell of a show. I think we'll wrap it up there, but
you guys are now, you're bound to, you have to volunteer for the next one, and you have to find a vet to fill your space. So for next year,
well, I already know I'm definitely going to come help you guys out next year, and I already got somebody in mind. So, Doug, you got anything last?
No, just thank you. It was an amazing weekend. I'm going to be hurting for a few days, but
same.
usually my weekends are like that downtime where you can just relax after a hard week at work, and then just going all weekend. Yeah, I'll be hurting for a few days, but it was worth it. It was well worth it. So thank you. That was an amazing weekend. Absolutely amazing.
So glad you guys got to come out. Just one kind of shout out, any of the veterans who are out there who are interested in this program or what we're doing, please go to VETSCT, VETSCT.org. My number's on there, our contact information is on there. There's no cost at all for you to come out. We try our best to accommodate you, you know, and we're going to be having outdoor classes and all kinds of things going on. Or if you want to support the program and donate, you know, we could definitely use that as well. Same place, but, you know.
Yeah, we'll put all the links and everything like that in the description as well. So anyone has to do is just click the link and they'll be good.
And we're gonna keep in touch. We're gonna keep in touch.
Yeah, so we're having classes all through the summer.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about that. So,
are you super excited?
Super.
I'm trying to think right now of a level above super excited, and I can't.
Uber excited.
Uber excited.
Uber.
I just can't hide it.
I think I like it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to keep in contact with you guys. We're definitely going to continue this, you know, awesome relationship that I think that we're going to develop here in the future. And yeah, brother, once again, I'm very proud and very grateful.
Thank you. Appreciate you. That was awesome.
So out there to the whole world, like we said before, we're going to put all the links in the description for the videos here, so you can figure out more of what VET's doing, what H.A.V.A's doing, and some future things that they might have coming up. And yeah, so so long from Ruck Up 2023. We'll see you again in 2024, and probably a bunch of times between. Until then, as always, everybody, stay proud, stay grateful. We'll see you next time. Although that's not the end of the show, we got a few more to talk about. So first off, leave it to Thor to pass on some 380-year-old wisdom from a samurai named Miyamoto Musashi, who wrote the Book of Five Rings, that said it was better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And that's what he was trying to get to there. So making sure we have all those skills and still saving them there and be tempered and reintroduce ourselves back into the society that we aim to protect. So
yeah, it was great. I just want to talk again real quick about the significance of the backpack. That was probably one of the most pivotal moments. That bag right there, that was probably one of the most mind-blowing metaphors that, like, I don't know, it just kind of knocked me on my butt, because we're all standing there at the end of day one, and they open up the tailgate and the tonneau cover of this truck, and there's all these packs, and Thor stands up and he's giving this speech, and it's kind of like an emotional moment, and everyone feels it. And then he starts talking about how, you know, when you get home and you're having those moments where you have that self-doubt, and when internally, like, the stuff hits the fan, and you're thinking that you can't go on and all that stuff. He's like, we're going to find ourselves in situations where we're going to be out in nature, and you're going to be in a situation where the stuff's going to hit the fan, and you're going to need those skills and those tools to survive. And then he takes one of the bags out, and he was like, this is what this bag represents. It represents the fact that no matter what happens, you have the tools to survive, whether it's physically or mentally. You have the tools. And you know what? If you need help, you have enough tools in this pack to remain sustainable, and we are going to come and help. And right there in that moment, I was just like, it's a backpack.
It makes so much sense.
And it did. And like, I want to keep that bag in my truck. And I mean, I guess I can take the item, like the axe and the handsaw out, and put the rest of the stuff in there. But I don't want to, because it's part of the pack, because I can't keep it in my truck because of where I work. And that's considered a weapon if my truck gets searched. And I'm not going to have it confiscated. But I keep it downstairs in my living room, and it's on the chair. And I walk by it 50, 60, 100 times a day when I'm home. And it's just that little reminder that it doesn't matter how hard today gets. It doesn't matter how hard tomorrow is going to get. It doesn't matter what happens. I have the tools to get through it just by looking at a backpack.
I know,
Thor,
right?
You're a genius. Thor, you're
so
an
here's the
genius.
thing. I've been talking to Nico a lot since Ruck Up. Sending him quick text messages here and there, and him and I can both agree that event is very much I want to say life-changing, but it's a very changing experience, period. So the ruck that I just showed, what it has in it, what they gifted us, is a plethora of survival skill or survival.
But it was
tools,
all the tools
right?
that we used on Saturday.
Yeah, it was all the gear that we were taught how to use, they gave to us to continue to be able to use. So that bag goes with me everywhere. Everywhere. Because the fact that I work in the civilian sector, I can bring it with me. Certain things I keep in the truck in a separate, compartment to always have. But what I put in it, things like, snacks and stuff, but I drink out of the water bottle they gave us every day. I keep snacks in that bag every day. I bring it with me no matter what. It's my dad go bag, if you will, to make sure that my kids always have something to charge their phones, their tablets with. It's my dad purse. It really is. I got a first aid kit, for boo-boos just in case. There's always something in there. Hell, I went on a trip up to my in-laws' house, and the only thing I had to bring with me was a change of clothes. I just put it in the bag and left. It was amazing. But since then, I mean, one, I've been eating healthier. I've been so motivated to get back into shape. I come home, from work after working, 10 plus hours. And I grab the bag, I grab the dog, I go for a 3-mile ruck in the woods. All right. I've lost 5 pounds since Ruck Up.
I say your head looks a little smaller.
I know. But that's what events like this can do to people. That's what people like that can do to other people, have such a positive effect. And Doug, like we've been like for the last couple of weeks, right? We've been like, oh, I found this survival gear, trying to tweak our bags, getting ready. We're planning, some stuff for the show to where we can kind of exercise a few of the skills that we brushed up on or learned and everything.
Yeah, which just real quick, I do have an amazing episode, an idea for the show that I have to run by you and the producer. It's going to be epically hilarious.
Okay.
This is going to be an amazing show.
Is it 3 hours of me trying to shoot something with a bow again?
Well, that'll be included. We'll have to edit 2 hours and 45 minutes of that out.
And most of it's bleeps from me swearing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so everyone who's watched this episode, I know this episode is a little bit longer, and we do apologize for that, but please bear with us in the fact that this was a 2-day event. There was a lot that happened. There was a lot that this 2-day event did for not only Seth and I, but for, I think it was like 22, 23 other veterans. Veterans that we have met before, we have been to events with them before, veterans that we haven't met before, active duty personnel from the Naval Submarine Base. There was a lot of people there that were greatly affected by what these organizations did. And they were affected in different ways, right? So each event is going to have a different effect on people. Seth and I, it just kind of like sparked this, love for just like getting back outdoors and let's go, do a hike camping trip, and let's get some people involved. Let's get our kids involved. Let's bring the camera stuff and record episodes. And also too, what Thor is doing is they're in the summertime, I think it's like once a month, they're doing classes. So what they do is they spend 2-3 hours in the morning and they teach you more advanced skills on fire making, carrying a fire. So if you have to go from one campsite to the next, how you can carry a fire with you so you don't have to worry about starting a fire when you get to campsite B, right?
Who thought about carrying a fire? That's not like, no, don't pick up the fire, Seth. That's bad. And now they're going to teach us how to pick up the fire.
My mom always taught me, don't touch that. That's hot. But me being the idiot was like, yeah, how hot? Oh, that's real hot. But yeah, so I mean, and the thing is any veteran that's been to the Ruck Up event, you bring your pack with you and you utilize the tools that are in your pack, reinforcing the fact that you have the tools to survive anything. And it just plays back in your head where it doesn't matter how hard tomorrow gets or how hard today gets. You look at that bag, you're going to realize I have the tools. I just have to remember how to use them. And like I said, we apologize. This episode's a little bit longer than normal, but there was just a lot that happened. There was a lot of people that we ran into, a lot of influential leaders in the nonprofit sector that are doing amazing things for the veterans in the veteran community. And we just so happened to be the recipients of it. And it was literally life-changing for us. It was amazing. So Thor, Kurt, Chris Fleming, Nico, H.A.V.A, V.E.T.S, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, everyone else that was involved. There was a list of people that were involved. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. I don't think you really understand what that event has done. And I don't think you understand what kind of fire that event has pretty much sparked inside of just Seth and I alone. And we're just two people. So
yeah,
again,
guys, you really put the hoo-yah back in this sailor's heart, and
put the hoo-yah back in the saddle.
Yeah, like Doug was just saying, right? We look at that bag and we realize we have all the tools we need. We have the skills, and in a way, we don't wear the uniform anymore. We're still sailors. We're still soldiers, right? That doesn't go away.
Nope.
And like I told Thor, thanks for showing us we can always go home, and we appreciate it. So.
And to any veteran out there watching, if Seth keeps using the phrase "go home," and that's kind of what it is, right? You're out of the military and you want to go home. You want to get back into that mindset, that feeling of camaraderie, stuff like that. Contact us. Let us know. We will get you hooked up with the proper organization. If you're not local in Connecticut, we have an outreach of pretty much across the U.S. to where we can reach out and find an organization for you. We know of a national organization that we can get you hooked up with. So we can get you hooked up back with that family. So if you need it, you contact us and we'll give you the tools. We can help you with those tools. So just let us know what you need. We got you.
All right. Well, I think that's it for this episode, guys. Like Doug said, it's a little bit longer, but it's worth it.
Definitely.
So once again, to all the guys at V.E.T.S, and ladies at V.E.T.S and H.A.V.A, thank you so much for everything you did. It was fantastic. And yeah, it was crazy. Doug, you got any last words on this one?
No, I just want to go rucking and go start a fire.
Same, brother. Same. All right. So to everybody out there in TV land watching, as usual, stay proud, stay grateful. We'll see you next time.